day before. This is February 4th, 2024. Tomorrow is the big day. And for those who do not know, I have been doing a countdown to my 55th birthday. We are on day 54 out of 55, and I am excited. I'm actually I have some mixed emotions. They're all good, none are bad, but I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I have been looking forward to this day since ever since I can remember. I really have. And I want to share why. I want to also not just share that, but some things that have helped me as I navigate to my 55th chapter, and as others may say, my 55th trip around the sun. So, yeah, let's talk. I remember when my maternal grandparents were in their 50s and as they approached their 50s, and how 55, that was the year to retire. Everybody seemed to look forward to retirement at age 55. I remember that. I remember my grandmother talking about it extensively. And my grandfather was more like me. Um, I never looked forward to retirement. I have tried. I've retired 3 times and went back to work. I enjoy having something to do. Um, so yeah, 55, that's a major benchmark because what once used to be like the end of your working journey, for some it's the start of a working journey. When you meet people today, it's not the same. It's people, even in their 80s are ready to get back out there, and they do get back out there. So I consider it very fortunate that I am in a frame of mind where I do not have retirement on my mind. And even when I do, it is because I may be retiring one thing that no longer serves me and moving on with something else that is for my higher good, because that's just what you do in life. That's just what you do. Yeah. So that's just one of the main things that I can give as sound advice on meeting this milestone is to learn how to control your emotions. That is something that I had to learn earlier in life, being exposed to what I was exposed to as a child and learning how to navigate that. Being the eldest child and noticing more things than the other children, the other siblings, and how I was wired, it incited me to be able to step up to the plate and do something. And a lot of times I made mistakes, a lot of time. As a child, as a teen, as a young adult, even in later on in life. But there is something that happened in my life that my grandfather used to talk to me about. And he was right. He was right. And it took several, you know, a few decades, I would say, to get it together. But for the most part, I think I did pretty good. According to people that I worked with and people I lived with, people I loved, people I fought with, um, they all say the same thing, that I have a handle on my emotions. So I'm gonna share with you some things um, that I learned that helped me to control my emotions. And it's only 3 things, very short things. The first thing is whenever I was in a conflict or a situation where there's hostile or just a basic disagreement, the first thing I would do is stop and observe what is happening around me. What is happening? Who is present? Who is not present? If it is a hostile situation, do I see an exit if I need to take off? Um, just everything. Like, who is heated? Who is cool, calm, and collective? Is there a disagreement over a thing, a person, a place? All of that. All of those things are very important. So just observe, just stop. I don't care if you're the person in the right or if you're the person in the wrong. Stop and just observe. What do you see? What do you see? What do you hear? And just take note of that. The second thing is once you've observed what is happening around you, then take note of how is it making you feel? How is the situation? Or how is this disagreement? Or how are these people making you feel? Because that is important to know. Because without that, you don't know how to gauge your next move. It is hard to do that. This is something that you can control. And this is why I am sharing these things, because these are things that you can control. You can control how you can get yourself to stop and observe what's going on. Nobody can take that from you. You can, once you do that, you can gauge how is it making you feel. No one can take away how you feel about a certain thing, about a certain person, a place, event, none of that. These are things that only you have control of. No one can take these things from you. So take note of how it is making you feel, because if something is making you really upset, you don't want to continue on with that same emotion, with that same fire, okay? If someone is giving you fire, and here's the thing, I hear people quite often say, I match energy for energy. That is one of the worst things that you could ever do. You can land in a lot of trouble. And a lot of times, most times, 99.99% of the time, it actually does not help. It does not. Um, and it makes things worse. It makes worse things worse, not only for that person, but it makes things worse for you in general. And our goal here is to help you not get there. So if something is making you sad, you want to take note of what is making you sad. If something is making you fearful, you need to take note of this. This is why it's so important to stop, observe, take note of how you feel. Once you have stopped and observed, and then taken note of how you feel, the next thing you can do is you can think about, what can I control? That's the third thing that you can do. You can think about, what in this situation can I control? Don't even stress over what you cannot, because coincidentally, most of it you can't control. You can usurp your power over someone else to control the situation. You may be able to get into a deeper confrontation with that person and take control that way. But what is it with the least resistance? Because that is what you want. That is the part that can save your life. What is the thing that you could do, or the thing that you can say with the least resistance that you can control? That's what you want to focus on. And the reason why I say this is because it's something that you can innately do. It's not something that you have to just really stress over. I wonder how I can work this out, because sometimes in that heated moment, you don't have that kind of time. What can you control in that situation? Most of the time, what you can control are your emotions. And these three things are steps, three simple steps. And I know sometimes if you are not in the practice of doing these things, it can be a little daunting. But once you get yourself in the practice of doing it, hey, this is what I need to do because I have to protect me. This is a way of protecting yourself. You protecting yourself emotionally, you're protecting yourself intellectually, you are protecting yourself sometimes financially, and you're protecting yourself physically. You're just protecting yourself all the way around, even spiritually. You are protecting yourself all the way around because that's the first thing you need to do is isolate yourself, isolate your thoughts from the situation long enough to give yourself protection. So I'm going to go back over those things again. Number one, stop and observe what has actually happened. Two, you need to think about how this is making you feel. And three, what is it that you can control? Because the things that you cannot control are usually the things that you argue about. Now, this is something that I struggled with for many, many years because codependency, once again, codependency, it has been the bane of my existence, I promise you. And once I started just doing these three simple things, I cannot tell you how much peace I have experienced. Even though the situation still may not be going in my favor, even though that other person still may be in opposition of me or just not treating me well or just not making it friendly enough to where I want to be around them. These three things have really helped me to control what I can control and only focus on those things. And you know what? It has really proven how strong I really am. That the strength lies in the one who does not have to exert who they really are. You don't have to exert your authority. You don't have to say, you don't know who you're fooling with. You hear people say that a lot. You say that even less. When you use these three things, you say that even less. There is more energy trying to prove who somebody don't know who they thinking they dealing with than it is to do these three steps. Once you practice them, get them in this ritual that you are doing right here, trust me, it's one of the greatest protections that you could ever use. And you know what? I'm not going to even hold you. It took Granny many, many, many years of practicing this ritual to protect myself. I am now 54. The last day of being 54 will be 55 tomorrow. It took this long, dealing with all the things that I've ever had to experience in my life. Just these three simple things. Just three. It has saved my life. It has saved a lot of relationships that could have ended, that would have made me sad had they ended. It has saved me so much money. That right there, that was more than enough for me. That and saving my life and being able to keep the friends that I really enjoy and the family members I enjoy being around. These three simple things, I'm telling you, it will humble you and it will make a better you.